If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood? Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
Sorry. There's nothing here.
Some of the patients won't last the night without them. Honestly, sir, I'm beside myself.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse.
Coucou EG, ça va? Je joue à Vampyr. C'est écrit juste en dessous. Y'a rien là, non. Par là. C'est pas ça la petite porte? Sait-on jamais. En gros, bah, c'est une histoire de vampire. Après, j'en sais pas plus. Oh, c'est cool. Je sens qu'il va se passer des choses ici. Rien.
It's locked, all right.
Ah, je suis déjà sortie? Mais je vais pas sortir? Mais... Allez là, 3 ans de chargement, au secours. Ok, là c'est C'est de là où je viens. Si je suis allée, ça je suis allée. Là aussi.
Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza. This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
Whoa! C'est...
Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
Ok. Je comprends juste toujours pas comment on fait pour être furtif, mais à part ça... Il s'est barré. C'est pas pour un fantôme, le frérot.
These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood.
Ah, comment je fais? Mais je vais crever. Mais... Ah putain. Ah bah ça se passe comme moi qui meurs quoi. Ah petite fille, il est tous morts. Ouais. En fait, je viens de comprendre que pour stun, c'est l'endurance. Ouais, ça va, je trouve... Tu vois, là, je comprends pas, je peux plus attaquer. Si j'ai pas d'endurance. Là, je peux rien faire. Voilà. Mais là, je comprends pas en vrai. Je sais pas. Des fois, je comprends pas tout. Des fois, j'essaie d'esquiver, mais mon endurance, elle est fou. Bah oui, mais des fois, je l'ai. En gros, mon endurance, elle est pas down. Ah, mais peut-être que c'est pas suffisant, je sais pas. Bah, après, je sais pas. Ah, bah bonsoir.
It's locked, all right.
Nouvelle enquête sur les citoyens. Ici que vous pouvez consulter les enquêtes sur les citoyens triés par quartier. Vous pouvez démarrer une nouvelle mission. Ah, en fait, c'est les quêtes annexes. Okay.
Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this.
Oula, il y a trop de portes, je sais même plus d'où je viens. Je viens d'où? En fait, quand je mets des attaques, ça utilise l'endurance, je viens de voir. Ah, ok, c'est de là où je viens. Ouais. C'est pour ça que je suis en train de voir, du coup, l'endurance, c'est grave important. Il utilise des compétences et tout, JPP. Au secours! Il est trop fort, le monsieur! Putain, mais JPP, il est trop fort! Oh là là, la table qui me gêne, là! En fait, c'est trop chiant parce que esquiver, ça utilise, attaquer, ça utilise, et assommer, ça utilise. Tiens, pas crever.
Skulls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting. Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.
Eh, merci. Ouais, il s'était fait partout. Défiant. C'est bon là, faut juste sortir. Toi, tu te TP pas. Voilà. Lui, il me tend une embuscade, c'est sûr. Oh. C'était sûr qu'il me tendait une embuscade. Un tigré, il me tendait une embuscade, petit chat. Oh là là, bon. Ben oui. Je sais pas pourquoi j'ai autant de directions. Là, c'est là où il y avait les mecs niveau 16, non? Bah, j'y vais.
It's locked.
Fabriquer un traitement pour la fatigue et reporter pour le portefeuille là. Je sais pas où aller le fabriquer leur truc là. Calme-toi. La fatigue. Ah non, là c'est juste pour analyser. Arrête, tigré, de twerker ton cucu sur moi. Tu me gênes. C'était ça la... Mais je peux rien faire. Oh putain, c'est ça qu'il fallait que je fasse. Ok. Je me demandais comment les portes elles se refermaient. J'ai eu ma réponse. Chercher les citoyens. sont là-bas.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Ellen. As for me, what a blundering idiot.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Mais il m'a envoyé chier il y a 2 secondes. Les maladies font baisser la qualité du sang des citoyens soignés avec les bons médicaments. Parlez aux patients dans la pièce située derrière Dorothy. Je vais te buter. Hein.
Reads me like a book. I'll never could do anything.
But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir.
This hospital seems to be falling apart.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Ok.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate
Ok,
to
le jeu
contact
peut
me
être
if
très
you
long, hein.
need
Moi je pense
any
qu'il a 10 000 heures de vie. Mais... Comment je le soigne là? Il est soigné là, non?
Dr. Reed, may I help you?
What can you tell me about our patients here at Pembroke?
This hospital was founded to help the East End poor and needy. But since the war and the quarantine, we've had all manner of folk.
Can you be more specific?
Well, veterans, the elderly, dock workers. We even have a few mental patients. If there's space, we take them.
What can you tell me about the epidemic, Nurse Crane? I've been out of touch since I've come back to England.
Everyday folk don't know how bad it is. The papers certainly won't tell them. Not as long as the war is raging on, anyway.
News on the front stated that the Spanish flu was under control, at least in Britain.
It seemed to be for a while, but that was only last summer. It returned with a vengeance just over a month ago.
C'est le Covid.
For how long have you been working here, Nurse Crane?
I first volunteered at the Pembroke in 1911, a few months after Dr. Swansea was appointed.
And before you arrived here?
If you must know, this was my first job.
Well, Dr. Swansea certainly has confidence in your abilities. Are you in charge of the nursing staff?
Not in an official capacity, but the Pembroke doesn't always work above board, so to speak.
What about medical protocols?
Dr. Reed, we don't have the money and resources here at the Pembroke like they do in the West End. We do what we can.
How is the duty roster organized?
Everybody works until they can't. If there's time, they'll eat a meal and shed a silent tear.
Bébé. Ouais, c'est fourbe. Écoute, c'est la loi du plus fort.
I'll see you later, Nurse Crane.
I will not let you down, my boy.
N'oubliez pas que le sang vous apporte énormément d'expérience. Cherchez les citoyens ayant un niveau de charme inférieur ou égal au vôtre et faites le bon choix. Comment tu fais? Ah, ok. Elle a 2. Donc elle, easy, genre.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
En fait, je pense que, genre, avant que tu aies envie de bouffer quelqu'un, il faut lui soutirer toutes les infos qu'il a, tu vois.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
You must get a hold of yourself, Nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual. Especially concerning doctors.
Je sais pas si je dois bouffer des médecins ou pas.
Why is Milton grumpy
C'est un blague question
on
que
a
je me
daily
pose.
basis?
Mais
Is
ils
it
ont
just
pas
an
de
act?
d'XP.
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Lui, je peux pas le buter, il fournit les armes.
How long have you been a nurse?
Or long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
Non, aucun, je vois que le sang des vampires.
I don't like your attitude, Nurse Hawkins. Pessimism can be as lethal as the epidemic in times like these.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Elle a pas mal, hein. Je comprends pas. Et comment je fais pour la charmer? Après, je crois que c'est plus tu découvres d'indices, plus tu peux miam miam, non? Tu demandes un date.
It's only a matter of time before the Pembroke closes its doors for good.
Can you remind me why we still work here?
Dr. Reed will help straighten things out in Pembroke, remember? I, for one, am still waiting to see it.
Well, that's reassuring. Believe me, it gives me courage.
Miss, please, I feel sick. Get over here now.
Ouais, d'accord. Il se tape des pauses clopes et tout, genre. C'est une patiente? Ouais.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon.
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Ah. Ah, là, c'est A pour charmer. Pendant le dialogue.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is
Ouais,
it
ça
like
va
to
le
be a
jeu,
vampire?
mais ça paraît très long
Hear my
effectivement.
body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Ouais, allez.
Who are
Les bruits.
these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Allez, toc toc, hein.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Ouais, ouais, j'ai bien envie, ouais. Tu penses que c'est... Merde, attends, je me trompe.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Do you require my
Merde.
services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your medicine, Dr. Reed. Blood is the only drug I need.
Ah, mon niveau c'est 1. Et elle est niveau
I'll
2.
leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Ah putain. Mon niveau c'est 1. Ah, va falloir que je bouffe des gens.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Oh! On peut le miam miam. On va lui soutirer toutes ces infos et on va le
How is
miam
your
miam.
stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I
Attends,
ask
je te
you
remontrerai après,
precisely
quand
why
il a fini
you're
de
a
parler.
patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars. If you get my drift.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
How close are you to Miss Hallcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
And it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Ah ok, plus en fait, ouais c'est ça, plus t'as d'indices sur lui et tu lui parles, plus ça augmente.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
Oui, oui, je vais t'abréger tes souffrances.
So this is how it ends. Farewell, my life, you betrayed me, good.
Miam miam. Ouais, c'est ça que ça dit. Miam miam. Non, allez, putain, je pense que je me trompe. Je vais plutôt m'occuper des patients, écoute, hein, ça fera moins de personnes à soigner, moi, je pense. Hein. Je sais pas ce que vous en pensez, mais...
I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Il est niveau 1, on va le bouffer.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work. and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
T'es pas assez appétissant, j'ai pas assez d'indices sur toi, mon pote.
I will not let you down, my boy.
But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Non.
Good evening, sir.
Oh non, pas lui. Non, 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 non.
You always knew the words to calm the children. As for me,
Je suis que niveau 5, JPP.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Aykroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Aykroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansey's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Oh. Oula, il est niveau 4, lui, il est en colère.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Aykroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansey has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansey, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Aykroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. you avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
Lui, on va le buter plus tard, c'est sûr.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
T'inquiète, toi on va te miam miam plus tard. On va bien t'XP mon pote, et on va te déguster. Je t'aime pas, voilà. J'espère que t'as compris ça. Oh non, pas lui. Oh putain, à chaque fois je retourne vers lui. Lui, je vais pas parler, hein. Ok. Ah, mais à chaque fois je me trompe.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Ok, aussi niveau 4.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
Oops.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Ouais, ça va nickel, t'as passé une bonne journée?
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Eh ben... Bon, on va garder les dialogues pour... tout ce qui est les dialogues comme ça pour tout level up. Merde. Je vais les garder hors stream parce que c'est extrêmement long.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
Bon appétit, Nico.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
I'm not some doe-eyed student, Edgar. I understand we both have something to gain from this relationship.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Mm-hmm.
took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient, or their family.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
C'est bien, petit esclave. Et après ça, je vais évoluer.
What? What is this?
Oh,
Who are
Blue
you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Dr. Swansea is quite busy, and I need you to help me get acclimated. I have many questions.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round.
Ah ouais, j'ai beaucoup de gens à
The
interroger.
patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
Bon, on va augmenter quoi? Ah ouais, j'avais dit ça. Vous utilisez votre endurance pour vous fondre dans les ombres et devenir invisible pour la plupart des ennemis. Non. Pas mal ça, pas mal. Je pense qu'on va encore augmenter l'endurance. Parce que c'est trop important. Coucou des vastes, comment tu vas? Il me reste 400. Je vais prendre ça. Du coup, je suis niveau 8. Situation sanitaire stable. Événement majeur dans le quartier. Chaque nuit, les conséquences de vos actes peuvent améliorer la situation sanitaire du quartier. D'accord. Terreurer, ces maladies se propagent parmi les citoyens. Mais je vais débuter, comme ça se propagera pas. Oula. Ah oui, c'était monté à satisfaisant et c'est redescendu. Recensement des citoyens. Recensement, ça je l'ai pas ça. Ouais, là c'est grave. Ok.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
I have met Lady Ashbury.
She's a fascinating woman, wouldn't you agree?
Pas à cause d'elle.
She told me you've been doing all in your power to cure her addiction for blood. Though unsuccessful, it's admirable.
Lady Ashbury is a cherished friend of mine. I would not betray her secrets without her consent. Come to the rescue of a damsel in distress. I ask nothing more.
The matter of Lady Ashbury's blackmailer.
Oh, I know too much about this matter already. I'm confident in trusting the interests and reputation of both the hospital and Our Lady into your able hands.
I have just a few questions.
Then ask away. I'm at your service, Doctor.
Je ferai ça.
We'll see each other again soon.
Il y a beaucoup trop de choses à faire en vrai. Hein. C'est bien comme ça, le gameplay est plutôt de type complet. J'avais pas un truc là? Ouais, voilà. Ça fait un peu comme Black Desert Online, hein, je trouve, au niveau des dialogues et des discussions. Peut-être que... 17 mètres. Peut-être que c'est ici, hein. Non, pas du tout. « 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4... » C'est ici, mais il n'y a personne. Je suis dessus, hein. Ouais. Ah, mais c'est ici, mais au-dessus? Attends. Personne? C'est là? Ça me bute. Bon, que je comprends pas. Attends, mais... Trouver l'infirmière Pipa. T'es qui? Elle, faut que je lui parle.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
niveau 5, je vais te déguster un jour.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Et de une. Dorothy Crane et Pippa Hawks. C'est qui? Smithton.
Another night with the glorious battalion.
C'est qui toi? C'est Pippa.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You...
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Et Dorothy Cucu. Normalement, elle est censée être là, hein. Elle est où, putain? Pippa. Harriet Jones, ok. Attends, mais la... what? Moi, je la trouve pas. Mais what the hell? Pourquoi il brille? Parce que c'est une quête, non? Lady machin. C'est ma chambre, ça, ouais. Ouais, le jeu est clean hein, quand même. Hein. Et encore là, je suis plus d'air, je peux repasser en... Le jeu est très clean. Hein. Apparemment, elle est là-bas.
I cannot enter.
Chakabraba. Ouais, niveau texture, moi je suis pas choquée, je trouve plutôt clean. Ils sont revenus. C'est qui lui? Appuyez sur V pour aiguiser vos sens. Si un citoyen se comporte de manière étrange, son cœur émettra une lumière caractéristique. Si vous examinez ce citoyen... Ah, vous pouvez ouvrir une interaction spéciale. V.
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
On va la manger. Hein. Y a pas de souci, il va te reposer, Vince. Bonne nuit, repose-toi bien. Il faut manger les citoyens, il y en a, ils méritent pas de vivre intégrés. Allez, d'accord. Allez, d'accord.
This man has been savagely attacked and dragged to the floor.
Ok, d'accord. En fait, j'ai vu leur résistance, elle augmente en fait à chaque fois. Par contre, là, de ce que je vois, j'ai beaucoup de balles. Hein. Oh. Comment je fais pour m'équiper? Elle fait 110 celle-là. On va l'équiper. Et main droite. Ah, je peux garder celle. Attends. Ah, c'est une arme à deux mains. Ok. Je sais pas combien il y a de chapitres, mais on est toujours au chapitre 1. Ok. C'est bien par là qu'il faut aller. Citoyen en danger. Prudence. Un citoyen en danger pourrait ne pas survivre à la nuit prochaine. À lui porter secours.
Are you injured, sir?
Help me get out of here. I need to get out.
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd be glad to help you, but you must calm down first. Please, take a deep breath and tell me your name.
Okay. I'm Oswald Thatcher. Please, I need to get out.
All right, Mr. Thatcher, you're safe now. Do you think you can reach the street by yourself?
Yes, I do.
Good. Now leave this place and enjoy the cool night air. It's quite invigorating. I'm sure you'll feel better if you do.
Voilà. Vous avez sauvé un citoyen, il sera de retour dans son quartier à partir de la nuit prochaine. Ah bah non, tu vas propager la pandémie, putain. Et ouais, c'est ça la bagarre. Oh!
What sort of creature is this? Here's what's left of him. Not a lot to check, but I should anyway. Some voucher for a free checkup in Whitechapel. What is Nurse Crane up to? I really must find her.
Attends, j'ai pas compris, mais c'était qui lui? C'est le mec qui s'est transformé en cette bête? Ah ouais, tu penses c'est fini là, le chapitre 1? Mais je suis choquée. Attends, c'est le mec, la bête là? Ah, et c'est ça qu'elle lui a donné, c'était l'antidote. Attends, c'est où Whitechapel? Ah, c'est là-bas. Ok, c'est pas du tout ici. Hop, on fait les poubelles. Ah, j'ai 1300 points, faudrait que je les utilise. Whitechapel. Il est niveau 18? Faut que je m'éloigne, il y en a un autre là-bas là. Allez, brrr! Ça c'est fait là. Ouah, je suis trop fort, j'ai affronté un niveau 18. Mais par contre, enfin, je suis vraiment obligée de passer par là. C'est pas dans mon niveau, les gars. Ok. C'est bien ce qui me semblait, il veut la bagarre. Là. Ils m'ont désaggro. Mais attends, mais... C'est quoi le délire? Je dois aller ici? Mais à quel moment je passe? Ah, je crois que je suis pas passée... My bad. En fait, il faut que je passe peut-être plus vers là. Je vais tester, hein, mais enfin, le niveau... oula. Bah ouais, déjà, en plus d'être HL... C'est vrai que je peux pas sauter, en vrai, je viens de capter. Je peux passer par là. Ouais. Mais là, je reviens ici. Faut que j'aille à l'opposé. Et tu peux pas sauter dans le jeu, il est nul du coup. Non, je peux passer d'un côté à l'autre. Là, je peux pas. Bah, j'ai loupé le pont. En fait, c'est le pont qui est là. Oh! Bande de caca. C'est par là? Non. Mais... Le pauvre. C'est un cul-de-sac. J'ai vraiment du mal. En fait, il n'y a pas de minimap intégré dans l'écran. Du coup, je crois que je suis obligée de faire tab. Ah. C'est par là. Je dois passer par là. Quoi? va aller à l'opposé, donc par là. Je suis obligée de faire le tour par là. Il n'y a pas de tour. Le jeu est compliqué. Enfin...
It's locked, all right.
D'accord. Oh my god. Bah allez. Ah, pourquoi je peux pas aller en haut? Une raison valable? Pas de raison valable, ok. Bah voilà, je peux pas. Ouais, ils attendent que j'ai fini de bouffer à chaque fois. J'aime bien. J'aime bien, j'aime bien. Mais attends, mais du coup, je peux même pas passer par là. C'est absurde. Hein. Qu'est-ce qu'il fait? Enfin, là, j'avoue que je comprends pas comment aller. Ah, on est au chapitre 2. Bah, tu as juste manqué du coup que je suis paumée.
Better go home.
Je suis dans le cul-de-sac. Je comprends pas. Putain, je peux pas passer par là. J'ai pas essayé par là, mais... Miam. Je pense que je vais faire demi-tour et je vais avec mon XP. Hein. Et je vais essayer de les def, hein, mais parce que là... Ah, ok. Je savais pas que je pouvais accéder par là. Ok. Est-ce qu'on va level up l'endurance, mon dieu. Ah, ça... C'est 1000. Ah, il faut être niveau 10 aussi. Elle a les yeux rouges. En vrai, ça aussi, il faudrait que je le remonte. Bah voilà, je suis niveau 10. Ouais, ses yeux sont devenus rouges. C'est quoi ça? C'est quoi? Ah! Ils ont été atteints? Putain, augmenter son XP, du coup, faut quand même que je gère tout. Les prix et les produits en stock des marchands de ce quartier peut-être changer. Ils sont tous atteints. Du coup, je dois tous les guérir. Ils ont tous la fatigue. Parce qu'ils sont beaucoup. Médecin simulateur. Ouais, franchement, c'est beaucoup de trucs à gérer alors que je me perds déjà. Elle a un rhume.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Et je peux pas la guérir? F. J'ai pas de traitement pour le rhume.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
C'est la seule qui a pas la fatigue là. Lui il a rien. Lui on sait pas c'est qui. Lui là. Il a la fatigue.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Comment je fais pour lui donner?
Is there anything else that's bothering you? Can I help in any way?
Really? Why has no one else asked me that since I got here? I thought I was in a hospital.
Mais je veux pas. Comment je lui donne? Attends, mais je comprends pas comment on joue au jeu, ça me saoule. Mais je sais pas. Mal de tête, fatigue, 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 fatigue. Moi je veux bien, mais je ne sais point. Ah!
Unfortunately, you are not the only person who needs help. And complaining about it won't do you any good.
Well, perhaps you're right.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
I'm quite busy right now.
Do you need my... Then you are... Thank you for your...
Elle, c'est un rhume. Là-bas, il y a de la fatigue. Ah. Toi, c'est quoi? Fatigue.
Good evening. Do you need a... You are not a... I have to go now, sir.
Don't waste your time with me.
But in the circle...
Do you require... Despite... What? Goodbye, Mrs.
Let you down, my boy.
Elle, c'est rhume. Il est où l'autre? Ah, elle a la fatigue.
Good evening, nurse. Good. Do you require... No.
Je sais pas s'il m'en reste.
Goodbye.
Je crois pas, j'en ai fait beaucoup, mais quand même. Hein. Inconnu, t'es un inconnu. Lui, je vais le soigner, je vais le buter.
Good evening. I have...
What? Well,
not...
good.
Do you need any medical...
Merci.
What's...
Papers.
Do you...
Maybe.
You do?
Come on.
Goodbye, Milton.
Bon, j'en ai soigné beaucoup, là. Tous en train de se heal. Anémie, mal de tête et rhume. Anémie, mal de tête et rhume. Alors, anémie. Un rhume. Oh, recette inconnue, c'est ça. Bah, il va rester avec son mal de tête. Il va pas faire chier. Anémie, rhume et mal de tête, c'est tout, hein. Ok. Un de chaque, en fait, je voulais check ça. Enquêter sur les actions de ce citoyen. Oh!
It's locked, all right.
Il m'a semé. Faut que j'aille sur le balcon. Mais comment?
I cannot enter.
Je me suis fait bait. Comment tu veux que j'aille là? C'était pas quelque part par là? Si, regarde. Et ici, je fais quoi? S'il fait, il arrive pas à se piquer.
Damn it! Why is this so difficult every time? That is better. That is better. I will make it through one more night.
T'inquiète, on arrive poteau. On va avoir une petite discussion là. Il est où? Il m'a semé. Petit con. Cours vite avec sa drogue, hein. Et toi là?
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous...
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met...
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was a...
He was also very confident about your future.
Direct.
I know you're taking drugs, Corcoran.
Corcoran.
Why take such a risk?
I needed to endure the long shifts. We have no idea how long the epidemic will last. We can't let it win.
For God's sake, what are you thinking? How can you be so irresponsible?
Irresponsible? I am devoted to my work. I am doing this for all the patients who need our help. I cannot abandon them.
What can you tell me about the staff?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander.
Oui, c'est important que je guérisse tout le monde,
focus on the
sinon
positive character traits.
ça va être la catastrophe.
Any opinion about...
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this...
Ah yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical...
Parce qu'en gros, je peux être en situation hostile et ça va devenir n'importe quoi. J'ai pas envie de savoir qu'est-ce que ça va devenir.
Tell me more about cherished people then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
What is
Ça, il va dire la
It's not a...
même chose que
What can you
tout
tell
le monde.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Tippett. On va soigner ton rhume. C'est elle?
Good evening.
Good.
Do you need... Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Inconnu. Récup. Putain, il y avait un autre qui était malade là. Ah oui, c'est l'autre dehors là. Il a une anémie. Viens là, toi. Je vais te manipuler le cerveau. Ah, il a un mal de tête. Triste vie.
Good evening, Mr. Cox.
Dr. Reed. Still working.
And why?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more alive.
You're lucky. Consider... Do you ever think about that poor fellow I saw you push in the water?
The wound he gave me will make sure I don't forget him. Still fucking hurts. Boss had cut me good.
That man...
What a surprise. The first time I...
What did he want? Revenge?
I recently had to kill his brother. Poor arsehole thought
Tu
it would be
mérites la mort.
easy to return the favor.
Only the strongest survive, then. Survival at all costs Is that all you think?
I'm the toughest bastard you'll ever meet, Dr. Reed. And I don't give a fuck what you think of me.
How is your hospitalization going, Mr. Cox?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff. But as long as I'm treated all right, I'll be fine.
What's wrong with the hospital?
Come on, Dr. Reed. The place is a dump. Smelly, sad, and dirty.
But you're alive thanks to the efforts and dedication of the staff here, aren't you?
What are you expecting? A medal?
Si, je le soigne
I
pour
thought
mieux le
that
bouffer.
saving lives was just part of the job. Must be an unsatisfactory profession at this time, I'm sure.
What's wrong with the Pembroke staff?
That bastard you sent to bring me here, Milton. I thought he was going to break all my bones before I reached my bed.
I see. Any other smart comments?
The nurses aren't too ugly. Especially that foxy one, Nurse Crane. Pretty brunette, tough attitude, oh, I like that.
How long do you think you can escape the law, Clay?
I know this city like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay, who to avoid, and who to bully. I won't get caught.
The police may be slow, but they will find you eventually.
Well, how come you didn't turn me in then? Nah, Doc, I figure you have something to hide so you can't ask the coppers for help.
Oh, j'ai perdu un indice. On peut perdre des indices.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
Non, non.
Hey, Doc.
Livre pas du tout. Viens là, toi. On va régler nos comptes. J'ai perdu son indice de toute façon. Il m'a gavé.
Killed, extorted, stole. Now I die. Fuck it. I live the way I wanted.
C'est con, hein. Non. Les musiques me font trop délire. Ah oui, oui, toutes les morts ont des conséquences. Hein. Hop. Ah, c'est pas ce que je voulais faire. Je sais pas pourquoi elle a les yeux rouges encore. Ultime. Pas mal. Vous créez un tourbillon des ténèbres. Des ténèbres du sang. Tout me coûte du sang, c'est pas fou. Hein. Alors attends. Vous créez un tourbillon de ténèbres au pied de votre cible. Les ombres prennent vie pour interrompre un ennemi dans la zone et lui inflige sérieux dégâts. Putain, 99 secondes récup. Oh. Bon, on va tester ça. va tester. Je voulais lui, mais bon, tout me coûte du sang, donc c'est un peu chiant. Bon, 95 d'XP, je peux faire un. Étreint. Perdu. Elle s'est perdue? Attends, les gens peuvent se perdre. C'est une blague. Ah putain, je sais c'est quoi. En fait, elle doit être dans un des cachots là, comme quand on a libéré l'autre. Toi, on va te buter, hein, je te préviens. Bah, j'ai libéré un mec. C'était un mec d'ici? Ah oui, c'est lui. Oh, ça c'est quel mal de tête. On va t'es chiant. Si je tue tout le monde, c'est stable, non? Enfin, c'est plus que bien, genre c'est vert. Ce truc, bon, c'est un peu dégueulasse, quoi. Bon, niveau 11. Peut-être qu'on peut fight les niveaux 18 là. Hein.
Pembroke is so lucky to have.
Je suis à combien moi? Attends. Attends.
I wish I could say the same for the others.
Eh oh. Il y a des gens là. Ah, c'est des méchants. Bon, la revanche. Ouais, en fait, c'est la... Ah, mais c'est pas le même nom. En fait, je suis souillée ici, c'est tout. Celui qui fait ce bruit. Comment on fait pour être discret, putain?
step back, sir. Die, vermin!
Et allez! Alors je vois pas c'est quelle touche pour l'ultime. Ah c'est la parenthèse, c'est bon je viens de voir. Non je peux pas m'accroupir. Ah, c'est pas ce que je voulais faire. C'est pas le chemin, alors je vais pas y aller.
Best stay back, sir.
Ça la one shot hein. Merde. Et B. Ah.
It's locked, all right.
Sérieux? Ah bah oui, c'est pas le bon chemin. Là non plus. C'est par là.
Whitechapel. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashbury's blackmail. First, let's find this Petrescu fellow.
Je peux pas courir, hein.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested?
Actually...
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough Court.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Elle vend des trucs.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
Ouais. Ouais, niveau 3.
Goodbye, Miss Swanborough. Perhaps we'll talk again.
Mais c'était où que ça a tiré un coup alors? Bon là je dois suivre là-bas, ok. Parce que j'ai l'impression d'arriver trop tard.
I'll not die in some piss stinking alley reeking worse than a week old lappy. Wasted your life away.
Are you all right?
The bastard hit the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
I found the recruiter you were expecting. He's dead, but he carried a note. The Wet Boot Boys have accepted your application.
I knew it! I told you I was tough enough. I'll be free soon.
You're being manipulated by these criminals. What's worse is that you're clever enough to know better.
You're all fancy words, none of which concern me. Go worry about someone else. I'm fine and I have a future here.
J'ai envie de le buter. On peut.
What?
On peut le buter, désolé, mais.
Do you know?
Ah non, il a pas assez de. Oh, en plus il est malade, le con.
Goodbye, young.
T'inquiète, je reviendrai.
What? Shooting a boy in the middle of the street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened? Who are you?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you promise me to set your gun aside.
No. Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin Palmer, doctor. And no one can help me. Not even you.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane?
It's funny, I've been searching for her too. I need some pills. But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants. No.
You don't have any...
Yeah.
Désolé, mais leur vie, elle m'intéresse pas. Hein. Moi, je gratte.
What is it, Benjamin?
The doctor's...
Voilà, moi je gratte ça. Est-ce que le monsieur il est malade?
A gun?
Je reviens. Attends. Excuse-moi. J'ai oublié quelque chose. Ok.
A gun?
Je reviendrai, monsieur. C'est ta tête. Pardon. Où étais-je? Moi je me TP comme ça, il y a rien. Bien.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
Enquêter sur les actions.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be for Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nethercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Welcome, sir. Please.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly
elle a
refuse.
toujours le même, elle change pas. C'est encore quelqu'un à qui on peut faire...
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy?
Nurse Crane. So
Yeah.
Dorothy Crane?
That doesn't explain.
Your precious...
Right then.
Ok. Il est où ton pote?
Excuse me, sir.
Another journalist?
I'm not a journalist.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed.
Really?
I'm Joe Peterson.
Have you heard of a nurse named...
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her.
Could you please tell me more?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants.
Goodbye.
Oh là, mais il y a trop de gens dans cette ville.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry,
Oh.
I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm afraid one of the nurses from the Pembroke hospital may be involved with unsavory activities.
Ah, could it be Dorothy Crane?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no relatives at all?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Ah ouais, niveau 4 le monsieur. T'es malade toi? Oh putain.
What is it?
What he...
So you...
Why?
That's quite not... Have you... I'm... Goodbye.
Oh là là, encore un. Ah. Oh là là, il y en a Becky. Bonjour monsieur, enchanté.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in our country. That's what happened.
C'est bien parce qu'on apprend beaucoup de trucs sur elle, du coup on va voir la miam.
So you... I have heard enough.
Oh, j'avais pas vu cette... Voilà là, par contre l'ultime qui one shot insane hein. Je suis un vampire et je vais tous vous miaume. Cherche un mec qui traîne ici à skip. Ça doit être lui. Ouais, c'est lui.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
May I? Oh. If... but... well... What do you remember? Yeah. What are your thoughts? Terrible. What do you remember? Yes. Most people... Tell me the... what? Not much. Perhaps what? And... in what if... oh... I'll leave...
J'ai fouillé un pot de fleurs et j'ai eu un indice. Incroyable.
Good evening. I'm...
Oh, c'est Camélia. Ouah. Oh. Oh ouais. Elle mettrait trop bien. Hein.
I know... Melia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary. A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever. Tell me about Richard Nethercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia.
Mais en fait, elle peut pas parler.
Very well. Goodbye then.
Je peux pas tuer Camélia. Miam miam miam. Mais je comprends pas comment je fais pour être plus que niveau 1. À mon avis, je dois pouvoir l'augmenter dans mes compétences.
Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter. Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Don't be up.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Goodbye.
Tout s'achète ici, on peut manger personne. Ça ferait des gens en moins pour la pandémie.
Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please. You again? Go away.
Ah, putain.
Sir, wait. Stop this nonsense. I know Nurse Crane is here. Shall we speak man to man, you and I?
All right. Speak up.
Don't you see we're on the same side? We fight to help the poor, sick, and abandoned.
I'm nothing like you, Mr. Doctor.
Yes, you are. You too believe in providing medical care without charge. You know what we have to sacrifice to make the world a better place.
I have to admit your words have conviction. All right, I'll let you see Dorothea. Don't make me regret this, though.
Non, faut juste mourir, t'inquiète, frère. Faut que je fasse gaffe à mon état de charme du coup. Plaît, je te pille moi. Oula, il y a une bronchite et tout là. Je vole son argent, il y en a rien à foutre.
It's locked, all right.
Gardez vos maladies là.
Can you hear my voice? I need help. He's going into convulsions, doctor.
Je crois qu'ils sont buggés.
What do we have here, nurse?
Patient
Ouais, ils sont
mentally.
buggés.
High fever running on 3 days. Complaints of dizziness, muscle aches, head pain, diagnosed with influenza.
Treatment?
Aspirin and salicin for the fever and discomfort. Liquids for dehydration, but he's having trouble keeping even water down.
Aspirin and salicin, you say? Why not some warm milk and a kiss on the cheek? Where are the quinine salts?
Tried buying, borrowing, even stealing. There's none to be found, doctor.
He's not convulsing, he's choking. He's not getting any air. Scalpel! Hand me that scalpel!
What can I do, doctor?
It's too dangerous to operate with these convulsions. Sedative, nurse. Do we have any anesthetics?
I'm sorry, doctor. None at all.
I need to perform a tracheostomy. Short pipe. That rubber tube will do. We're going to cut a passage for air through the neck.
Yes, doctor. He's breathing again, but he's coughing up blood.
Internal hemorrhaging. I need to make another incision into the chest cavity to drain the fluids from the lung. Prepare another tube.
A thoracostomy. Doctor, we've nothing to fight the infection. We need an aseptic environment.
Right then, Nurse Crane. What do you suggest we do?
I've no idea. I'm not the doctor.
Time is of the essence. We need to perform a thoracic drain.
Yes, doctor.
Voilà, je veux pas voir, hein.
He's still bleeding, doctor. I'm losing his pulse.
The drain must have punctured the intercostal artery. There's too much blood.
Are you all right, doctor?
I can't see. I must first suture the artery. Find the wound. The source of the blood.
Needle and thread, doctor.
Good. The stitches are holding. How's he doing?
We're losing him. We've lost his pulse. He's dying, doctor.
Je sais pas moi. Coucou Tino, ça va?
Cardiac massage, now.
Cardiac... What? Are you making this up as you go along?
Je sais pas comment soigner les gens, moi. Ouais, ça va, je viens de tuer quelqu'un, mais...
We've lost the pulse. He's gone, Doctor.
Nurse, we did everything we could.
Truly? Everything you could? Is that how you'll report this in your log? Is this how the war went? Piling up one poor corpse beside the next?
This was not an influenza-induced seizure. I've never seen symptoms like these on the continent.
Neither have I. But the previous symptoms leading up to this attack were the same, indistinguishable from the epidemic.
No. There was something more vile in these reactions. Something primitive.
There have been numerous reports of mental breakdowns caused by the fever that accompanies the flu itself, Doctor.
Yes, but... I'd best take some samples of the blood for analysis.
I doubt you're here to test my bedside manners.
T'as bien raison. Casser tes dents.
To what do I owe this courtesy? I suspect it was more than intuition alone that led you to us. So, how might I be of service, Dr. Reed?
I've come to put an end to this insufferable blackmailing, Dorothy.
Doctor, you think your warnings scare me? I've stolen and plied, blackmailed and lied, but what else am I to do? I'm all these people have.
But why Lady Ashbury? Why her, of all people?
She's pristine and proper, all right. But that she-wolf in sheep's clothing murders the poor for sport. I have her where she belongs, and I'll milk her for all she's got.
Dr. Swansea is a sensible and honest man. He wouldn't have refused your friend's care at Pembroke.
It's easy for you to say, Doctor. These people cannot go to the police, nor to the hospital. They don't even speak English. They depend on me for everything.
So, the end justifies the means. Is that your defense?
I know you're kind, Doctor. Just another fine-heeled, silver-spooned gentleman who was given the world on a platter. You know nothing of poverty. Nothing of the shame, the hunger, the loneliness.
You've convinced me of the sincerity of your actions and their noble justifications. But all the same, blackmail is a crime, and it will stop, Nurse Crane.
So, are you going to turn me over to the authorities?
Alors, je vais pas la buter. Parce qu'elle m'a dit que je dois régler cette histoire sans la tuer. Est-ce que je l'épargne? Je sais pas. Et vous allez oublier toute cette histoire.
Listen very carefully, Dorothy. You will erase from your memory everything you pretend to know about Lady Ashbury and Pembroke Hospital.
Let that rich bitch off the hook over my dead
Nurse
body.
Crane, enough. Listen as if your life depended on every word. I know you've a generous heart who gives freely to those in need, but you shall walk away from the shadier streets of your business.
I will never abandon...
Dorothy, the discussion has come to a close. Your clandestine activities in the Resistance are over. Let it go.
I'll let it go. Yes. All gone.
Niveau de charme. De nouveaux citoyens peuvent être tués. Ce quartier subira bientôt les conséquences de votre geste. Oh putain. Trouvez un moyen de pénétrer dans la maison de Darius. Bon, si j'ai pas compris, ils vont tous crever ici. Ce serait bien que je les bute avant qu'ils crèvent, non? Enfin, je sais pas. C'est quoi ce bordel? En fait, la ville a été envahie, là, c'est ça? Je suis niveau 2, je crois, maintenant. Mais lui, il a une migraine. Attends, il y a un refuge, non? Je vais aller au refuge et je vais te faire de quoi le soigner de sa migraine et le bouffer, lui. C'est de l'autre côté. Par là? Non.
It's locked.
Ah, je peux pas aller dans le refuge là, c'est ça qu'il est en train de me dire? Mais non. Ouais, les décors sont sympas. En tout cas, c'est bien fait, quoi. Il a une migraine. Putain, j'ai rien pour une migraine. Oh, c'est chiant, je peux rien faire. pas trop comment on fait pour acquérir de nouvelles recettes. Putain, je voulais le soigner et le tuer, mais je peux pas. Bon, faut aller où?
Human blood. Whoever left these marks did so deliberately.
Boy! In a fucking grave! Burning, boy!
Easy. Oula. Ah ouais, j'ai 2003 du coup. Lul. On va hop. Pire que c'est l'endurance, c'est vraiment niveau 12. Hop. Ça encore, j'ai pas tant de problèmes que ça. Ça, il est pas mal le shield. Oh putain, c'est 1003. Ça aussi, je l'aime bien. Là, c'est 2000. 1003. Augmente la quantité de dégâts infligés lorsque vous utilisez une lance sur un combat. Ouais, moi aussi, rien. Mais j'ai pas trop tardé à stop. Disparition. Les cas de disparition inexpliquée augmentent depuis plusieurs semaines. Ah, il y a même un système de journal. Là, c'est stable. Ah oui, là, c'est critique, genre. Je pense que je vais le soigner et je vais le bouffer. Lui, j'ai tout sur lui. Il a une bronchite. Là, c'est stable, c'est critique. Ok. Attends. Il y a une bronchite, hein. J'ai déjà un truc. On va y aller vif. Je pense que tu peux tout avoir si tu te fights avec tout le monde et si tu bouffes beaucoup d'humains. Beaucoup d'humains. Oh, ma soif de sang, j'avais pas vu. Migraine. C'est lui.
Good evening, how do you fight? Yes. You, tell me. Yeah. I know. What? What? I'm but.
Yum yum.
Who will assist Dorothea helping our comrades now that I die?
Ah, il twerk un peu, je crois. 2000 encore. Merci monsieur. Lui il a mot de tête, non? La fatigue. Je peux le buter. Je vais le faire aussi lui. Je vais anéantir la ville. Quel calvaire. Ok, on va le tuer, on retourne en ville et je vais cut. Ah ouais, ma soif qui est revenue nickel.
The Swanborough cordial can be the answer to all your problems.
Will be proud of me.
Do you need a plate? There.
Tant pis pour tes indices. C'est loin.
No, not now. Not me, please. I'll be good.
Oh. On s'arrache. Vide de nul. Où je suis? T'avais qu'à pas faire le délinquant. C'est bon, je suis sûre que si je l'avais pas tué, il aurait tué d'autres gens. Coucou Moggy, ça va et toi? Je viens de voir que c'était par la sortie.
Its effectiveness has been proven by many. Even is no match for the Swanborough cordial.
Oui, il y a un chat qui fait miaou.
Human blood. Whoever left these marks did so deliberately.
Non. C'est bon, je les ai fait. Ok. Et je vais encore up. Parce que j'ai 3 quarts. On avait dit. Reste plus que 1000. Augmente votre régénération de revenu lorsque vous utilisez. Je voulais up quoi? Ah oui, ça. C'est 3000. Ah non, j'ai trop. Oh, je passe. Je sais pas quoi up. Voilà. Parce qu'en endurance trop importante. Et c'est passé quoi? Mais ça a trop d'impact sur le jeu, ça. Du coup, aucun d'eux peut me donner d'indices, hein. Ils sont tous morts. Il y a toute une ville qui est morte. Bah voilà, tu sais ce que ça fait maintenant, hostile, ça tue tout le monde. Allez. Oh là là. Mais... je suis choquée. Tout de suite, ville est morte. Bon. Ah, ça m'a mis là. Alors du coup, on a découvert plein de choses. Enfin, j'ai découvert plein de choses. Que je vais vous conter. En même temps. Hop. Alors, ce monsieur qu'on allait voir hier a tenté en fait de se suicider. Et il a voulu nous le cacher. Et la mère aussi. Il avait écrit une lettre pour son suicide que j'ai dû aller récupérer. Et en fait, à chaque fois qu'on fait une quête, on a le choix entre deux actions. Faire un truc ou faire l'inverse. Donc j'avais le choix entre donner la lettre à sa mère ou lui rendre sa lettre. Ouais, du coup j'ai bien XP les gens. Mais il faut savoir que tout acte a vraiment des conséquences. C'est-à-dire que là, si par exemple... là, je peux pas. Mais si je décide de tuer la mère, si je passe une nuit, le fils va se buter en fait. Parce qu'il a voulu se suicider parce qu'il a déjà perdu son père. Donc si je tue la mère, il va encore se suicider. Donc... il y a des choses à pas trop faire quand même. C'est un peu complexe. Lui, par exemple, si on le bute, il a 2 enfants. Bon, on ne voit pas les 2 enfants. Je pense que ça n'a pas de réel impact. Mais ce que j'ai vu, c'est que dans l'arbre, il faut faire attention aux liens. Du coup, il faut le tuer avant qu'il se suicide. Oui, ça c'est pas faux. Et aussi, c'était qui? Ah oui, la folle. Elle est où la folle? Vous savez, hier, on a rencontré une femme qui se prend pour un vampire. Elle doit être dans le hall, elle est là. Elle. Et bah du fait que j'ai tué lui, elle s'est perdue dans le chaos. J'ai dû aller la sauver. Parce que sinon, si je passais une nuit, elle était morte. Parce que elle s'est enfuie. Parce que lui, il est mort et ils avaient un lien. En fait, toutes les gens qui sont collés, c'est qu'ils ont des liens entre eux. Donc j'ai tué lui. Elle est partie se perdre. J'ai passé une nuit, par chance, elle était encore vivante. Je l'ai trouvée par pur hasard pendant que je jouais. Je suis allée la sauver. Et en fait, il y avait, vous savez, ceux qui sont contre les vampires, mais qu'on bute quand même parce qu'ils sont méchants. Et ben, ils étaient là pour la tuer parce qu'elle arrête tellement pas de dire je suis une vampire, je suis une vampire, je suis une vampire, qu'ils ont cru que c'était une vampire. Et c'est pas une vampire. Donc, ils sont allés la chercher et ils allaient la buter. Ce petit monsieur est un voleur de cadavres. Il vole tout ce qu'il y a sur les cadavres. Mais le problème, c'est que là, si je décide de tuer un des personnels soignants, eh ben on est dans la sauce. On est dans la sauce parce que déjà que c'est la galère vu qu'il n'y a pas beaucoup de personnes, ça va être compliqué. Là, par exemple, si je tue lui, eh ben lui va se suicider. Parce qu'ils ont un lien extrêmement fort et machin. Et en fait, il l'a clairement dit, si un jour il est plus là, je me tue. Et ouais, et j'ai perdu des indices aussi. Donc, faut faire super gaffe. Eux, ils ont tous les deux un lien. Donc ça, c'est le monsieur qui se dope. Et elle, en gros, c'est entre guillemets, c'est sa go. Eux, ils ont pas de lien. Ils veulent juste se barrer tous les deux. Mais lui, par exemple, je peux le bouffer. Mais si je le bouffe, ça fait un médecin en moins. Et elle, elle va devenir folle. Sauf qu'elle, c'est aussi une infirmière. Du coup, il y aura et un médecin et une infirmière en moins. Enfin, vous voyez, c'est tout un délire, en fait. Mais vu que ça, c'est la map encore principale, je pense que je vais arrêter de buter des gens. Ah, ça, c'est les quêtes. Là, c'est la ville où on est rentré en milieu hostile, qui s'est fait envahir par les vampires et les monstres. Donc, tout le monde est mort. J'ai perdu toutes les quêtes, toute l'XP, j'ai tout perdu. Et elle était déclarée comme perdue et je l'ai retrouvée. Elle était transformée en fait en espèce de vampire. Et c'était elle qui était niveau 24 et je l'ai butée. Parce que sinon c'était un petit peu la galère. Cette ville, on l'a pas encore découvert. Et ça c'est la ville de départ. Donc je suis allée découvrir d'autres personnes. Où j'ai fait pas mal de quêtes secondaires, les dialogues, etc. Bah voilà. Alors elle, c'est la meuf de lui. Ils ont le même nom de famille. Eux, ils étaient ensemble. Et du fait que je l'ai tué, elle est contente parce que lui, c'est son amant. Donc, elle est contente qu'il soit mort. Comme ça, bah, elle peut pécho lui, genre. Il y a plein d'histoires comme ça. Ça, c'est le barman et la servante. Ça, c'est une mamie. Ça, c'est son fils. Et ça, c'est un orphelin. Ça, je sais pas c'est qui. Je sais pas c'est qui, lui. Mais vous voyez, les personnes isolées, comme ça, je peux les tuer. Parce que ça aura pas d'impact. Enfin, je pense que si, ça aura de l'impact un peu sur ça. Mais il me manque toutes ces personnes. Et lui, lui, il est relié à personne. Donc c'est easy. Donc le but, ça va être d'attaquer les gens qui sont reliés à personne. Mais l'histoire, enfin, le gameplay est très complexe. Bah, faut tous morts, j'en remets toujours pas. Donc, ouais, il faut réfléchir à beaucoup de choses, je me suis rendu compte. Puis surtout que, enfin, voilà quoi. Là, par exemple, si lui, je le tue, c'est le patient de eux deux qui sont pas d'accord de la manière de le soigner. Et je sais pas ce qui va se passer. Je pense qu'ils vont se prendre la tête et il y en a un qui va buter l'autre. Et bah écoute, après l'avoir mieux découvert, franchement, oui, j'aime beaucoup. J'aime beaucoup. Peut-être ce soir on n'aura plus d'hôpital, ouais ça c'est possible. Mais du coup j'ai soigné tout le monde etc. pour faire super gaffe à ça. Ça c'est toutes les quêtes. Celle-là je vais l'enlever. Parce que là j'ai quand même des quêtes sur des PNJ qui sont morts. Donc ça c'est un peu chiant. Parce que je pense que les quêtes elles sont quand même réalisables. Mais là je peux pas y aller. Ça je sais pas encore ce que c'est. Les vampires légendaires. Peut-être que ça va me débloquer des trucs au fur et à mesure. Je sais pas. Je sais pas trop, mais j'ai pas mal de clés. Bon, enfin bref. Et aussi, quand je passe en vue vampirique, des fois, vous savez, les cœurs sont éclairés. C'est parce qu'ils sont en train de faire des bêtises. Et il faut aller contrôler les bêtises. Là, il n'y a plus personne qui fait des bêtises. J'ai déjà contrôlé tout le monde hier. Allez, let's go. Mais qu'est-ce qu'elle fait?
I would ask you to avert your eyes, sir. Or did you not know it was rude to stare?
I knew it.
Speak up, Dr. Reed. I like a man who speaks his mind.
Oh, je suis choquée. Ça commence mal.
You killed him. He trusted you. And you killed him.
Spare me your sarcasm, Jonathan. You are but newly born in this world.
So in the end, the accusation was true, wasn't it?
The situation is somewhat awkward nonetheless. I have not been observed sustaining myself for many decades. I have to say I'm a trifle embarrassed.
Anyway, I have concluded my inquiries concerning your blackmailer.
I see. Please excuse my agitated state. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't let anyone see me in this condition.
The case is closed, your ladyship. The person who took advantage of you has, shall we say, seen the error of her ways.
So who was it?
My lady, the blackmailer was dealt with using the utmost discretion. The culprit's identity is of no relevance.
Thank you, Jonathan. That is exactly what I needed from you. You have proven your loyalty, so, as a friend, please accept this small token of my appreciation.
Thank you, my lady.
If you have an inclination to learn more about vampires or your current situation, I will be glad to aid you in your quest for knowledge.
A vampire? Is that what I am? What we are?
Such a crude word, defined by penny dreadfuls and drunken hacks. No. You are now an Ekon, and that you shall remain.
So we are Ekons. How can I identify us amongst other vampires?
How to put it? All Ekon are vampires, but all vampires are not Ekon. We are but a branch of the immortal tree.
Are you an Ekon too?
Yes, I am. We are the closest thing to what man refers to as vampires. Forget what you think you know about us.
I've been hearing a voice talking in my head. Is this some kind of insanity? It feels like the voice of the vampire that created me.
Hush. Tell no one this. It would be unwise to talk of such things amongst British immortals. Speak no more of your maker.
How could this cause offense?
Only the powerful immortals can mentally call to their progeny. No vampire or hunter will sleep easy, knowing that an unidentified elder is stalking the streets of London.
Excuse my forwardness, but are you my maker?
Me? Goodness, no. Only a foolish immortal would create a progeny without taking precaution, and I'm no fool.
I don't understand. Why was I created and then left for dead?
That is a question only the one who made you can answer. It's not normal practice. I doubt even if you find him, he will answer you, considering how cruelly he treated you.
I'd like to avoid creating another vampire by mistake anyway. Tell me, how is it done?
The process is dangerous. It could even kill your potential progeny. If you did decide to sire an offspring, they must drink of your blood, Jonathan.
So me being a vampire could have been a mistake?
I very much doubt it, Jonathan. Contrary to the legends, it is not as simple to make another vampire by just biting someone.
Why does Dr. Swansea allow you to feed on the patients of the hospital?
Dr. Swansea is a good and compassionate man. He is trying to find a solution for our hunger. Until that happens, he is clever enough to understand that I only feed upon the dying.
What do you know about this Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole?
The Brotherhood is well known amongst London Vampire Society. As long as our kind is discreet, and as long as they do not interfere, we have come to a mutual understanding.
And no one suspected you of the murders?
As you well know, suspicion has recently fallen on me of killing for pleasure. But you have my word, Jonathan. I take no pleasure in taking a life.
Why did you save me in the canning factory?
I could hardly stand by and watch such a promising young blood as yourself be torn to shreds by some gutter scab.
William Bishop wasn't the vampire that created me then?
No, Jonathan. Whatever their strength and demeanor, Scowls are the progeny of careless vampires. It cannot be the other way round.
What type of vampire is a Scowl?
Not a true vampire. The deformed offspring of lesser vampires. It is a shame these creatures run wild, slaves to their baser instincts.
I know this is beyond the pale, but may I inquire your age?
Really? And I thought you were gentlemen. If you must know, I'm 27. I've been 27 for a long time now, and 27 I shall remain.
Very well, but I believe there is more to this than you are saying.
A lady has to have some secrets.
And who bestowed upon you this eternal youth?
My maker. He left this isle a long time ago.
I've been away from London and England for 3 years. This isn't the city I remember.
Things have gone from bad to worse here, Jonathan. I've lived in this city for a long time, and I've never seen it like this.
The Spanish flu has hit London that bad?
Yes, but it's not just that. I've heard things. Things I've not heard for a very, very long time. There are whispers in the shadows. Something far worse than the Spanish flu is here in the city.
What is it you fear?
Fear has long since flown this form. But there is something malevolent circling us. I feel fear is merely waiting in the wings.
Are there many vampires here in London?
Immortals are of a rare breed, and we often tend to hide. But you may occasionally meet some of us at night.
Do you know any of them? Have you an idea of the identity of the vampire who attacked me?
You mean your maker? No, Jonathan, I have no clue. But I fear he or she is as careless as cruel. To let you discover your new condition by yourself.
What do you mean?
Every now and then, You may discover an immortal in the deep of the night, but we are a rare and reclusive breed. Our progeny is almost never accidental.
Will they all be as affable as you, my lady?
I do not see why not. But remember, even the shark smiles before he bites.
That sounds like a lesson from experience.
Vampire politics are as intricate and sometimes tedious as a game of chess in a gentleman's club. I've learned from experience it is best to decline to play.
When I awoke, changed, I was chased and attacked by vampire hunters. Prepared and well-trained.
Though I can't be certain, more than likely it was the once glorious Guard of Priwen.
Once glorious, but still dangerous.
They have seen better days, but all fanatics are dangerous. You would be wise to stay clear. They are sworn to destroy our kind.
You make them sound like some sort of cult.
More a society, and like all the best ones, a secret society. I thought them almost gone, but it seemed they have been recruiting.
I bid you farewell, for now, my lady. I must quickly analyze the blood I took from Nurse Crane's patient.
Épée. On a appris des choses, dis donc. Je trouve que l'histoire est super bien contée quand même. Hein. Sérum d'endurance léger augmente la régénération de 50% pendant 15 secondes. Oups.
Razvan Vasily was infected by Spanish flu, but also has the highly unstable blood of the Skulls. Is the London vampire epidemic transmitted through the flu? I should talk to Dr. Swansea about it.